Morning. Getting ready to start on a new project. A buddy of mine brought over this clutch pedal bracket. It's for a 91 Honda CRX. He's changing it. He's converting it into a manual. So he had to buy this clutch bracket. And when he got it, it was cracked. I don't know if you can see, but it's cracked right there. It's cracked right there. It's cracked right there. It's cracked all the way around that shaft. So he asked if I could repair it for him and stiffen it up. So I'm going to sandblast it, try and weld it up as much as possible. Then I'm going to take a cardboard template of this and make a panel. We're going to do 2 test pieces in this before we put it in our actual patch. That way we know if it's gonna fit or not. If I do the dimple on a 3/4 inch and it's too big to go in the hole, I don't want to do that on my patch panel. So I'm gonna do that on a test piece first. We'll do a 3/4 inch and a 1/2 inch test piece, see how it works, and then we'll decide from there what we're gonna do on our patch. So right now I'm gonna get this thing all sandblasted up, and I already got my cardboard template cut out. I don't know what I did with it. I'll find it, and then we'll start punching holes and doing our testing. So stick around. Should be a quick, easy fix, but also fun because we get to use dimple dies. So I got the bracket all sandblasted up. I'm getting ready to, I'm gonna TIG weld these cracks up. In my structural repair manuals on aircrafts, it talks about stop drilling cracks. So these cracks, this one goes to the end of the panel and that one goes to that hole where the shaft's at. So I can't really stop drill that one. There's 3 cracks. The only one I can stop drill is this one right here. So I will do a small drill at the very end of that crack, and then I will weld this all up. I'm gonna TIG weld it, and I got my amp set to 55 amps, and I'm using the foot pedal, so I will monitor the amount of amperage as I need it. But yeah, let's get this welded up. You ain't gonna be able to see what I'm welding, so I'll just get it welded up, and then I'll come back and we'll start the panel, the repair panel. So that's all welded up now. All the cracks are welded up. And I welded that thing all the way around. I couldn't get to the inside over here, so I did it on the inside over here and welded it all the way around that shaft. So while that's cooling down, it's still hot, let's make our test piece for our dimple dies. Alright, I have my dimple dies here. These are the 2 that I'm going to use. This is the 1/2 inch. This is the 3/4. So I'm going to drill my holes to the outside diameter of these right here. This one's a 1/2 inch. This one's a little over, probably around 11/16. So I'm going to drill these holes, make sure these fit, deburr them, and then I'll go over to the press and we'll dimple die these holes. Alright, got my holes drilled, back over on the press. I'm going to dimple die these holes now and find out which ones we're going to use for our patch panel. That's the 1/2 inch. I don't know if you can, kind of hard to see in the video, but that's the 1/2 inch. Now I always deburr my holes, clean up around the edges and then deburr the holes so it doesn't mess up my tooling. Now we will do the 3/4 inch. That one looks pretty good. Both of them look good. Let's go see which one will fit into the panel. Yeah, I think the 3/4 inch one will fit. Let's Alright, I'm gonna cut these out with the beverly shear so I can put it in there and make sure that it's gonna fit. Yep, that 3/4 inch one's gonna fit perfectly. I don't know if you can see that in there. Hope you can, but yeah. So that's what we need, is reuse the 3/4 inch hole. Alrighty. So now I got my pattern. I got my paper pattern that I made. It fits in there really, really nice. I got my circle where my hole needs to be. So we're gonna transfer this I'm actually going to make this bottom edge. I'm gonna trim a little bit off this bottom edge so I can just do a lap weld along this edge, along the bottom here. And then that'll allow me, give me something else to weld onto, make it a little bit stronger. And then, yeah, so we're gonna transfer this to our piece of metal, and then we will cut it out, get a dimple die in it, and then weld it in. There we go, that's gonna fit. That's gonna work good right there. Right like that. Boom. There's our panel. Now, let's see if we can line that edge up. We'll get this cut out, set it in place in here, mark the hole, mark the outside hole for our dimple die, cut the hole, and then dimple it and weld it in. So I'm just going to use the beverly shear to cut this out. The beverly shear allows me to cut on a curve. There we go. You can get really, really close with the beverly shear. I could probably go over and cut on all those lines, but I'm just gonna sand it down. I'm gonna probably take my hand snips and trim it a little bit closer to the lines, and then sand it down and make it fit perfect. That looks good. Now I'm going to go over to the mirror braid, clean it all up, sand it down, make it fit like money. All right, patch panel, structure panel is in there. You can see what I was talking about. I shaved a little bit off so I can do like a lap weld bead around here. I'll be able to get up in here a little bit, up in there. He's got enough room to get the washer in there, and I think this is going to strengthen this thing up a lot to where it's not going to crack again. So now what I'm going to do, like I could weld it right now and not dimple it, but I think the dimple die will look cool and it gives it a little bit of strength. So I'm holding it in place. I'm going to hold it in place and then mark it and then punch that hole out, and we will dimple die it and then we'll weld it in. On it. That doesn't look centered, man. I'm gonna go right over here. Right there. Alrighty, got my hole drilled, deburred, cleaned up. So before I do the dimple, I need to make sure that I'm doing it on the right side. So put it in here, get it lined up. So this is the top that I want, and I want the dimple to go down. So I take my dimple die, the flared part, push this, so let's push it down, put that on this side, then this one, and now we will throw it in the press. Press it out till it moves and it flattens back out. Release it. And there's our dimple die, all ready to go. Let's see how it fits in the panel. Money. Like that looks perfect. Now it's ready to weld in. Should probably spray this with some weld-through primer. Yeah, I'll spray the inside with some weld-through primer and then let that cure, then we'll weld it in. Alright, it's all weld-through primered. This is copper-based weld-through primer. It's the best stuff that I've used, that I've found. It's U-pulled weld number 2, UP0768. I get it off of Amazon. That's the best stuff I've used. There's other stuff out there. I don't like the Napa zinc based. It just doesn't work for me. It just doesn't get, it causes problems. This stuff doesn't cause problems. I don't have any problems getting my arc started. But now this should not corrode in there. My buddy can do what he wants to the rest of it, paint the rest of it, whatever he wants to do, but I'm not gonna do that. So I'm gonna start welding this in there. It looks like I need to bend it a little bit, because see, it's flat over here and not so flat over here, so I'm gonna bend it down a little bit, and then get that fitting in there and then weld it up. A little bit by hand. sure there's not oil in that one. There we go. There we go. Now it's fitting pretty nice. Now I can start welding that thing up. So just like before, you're not gonna be able to see what I'm welding. So I'll set it up and then I'm gonna go to town, get it welded up. Alrighty, I got it all done, all welded up, welded in there. I couldn't get up top here. There's just not enough room to get in there with my TIG welder. So I ended up welding the back side of the dimple die, welded that up, got that solid up top. So I think it's gonna do what I need it to do. It's a lot stronger now. All the welds, all the cracks are welded up, re-welded up, and it's got that doubler plate in there. It should be, and that's 16 gauge, that should be plenty strong enough to hold that thing in place. So that one's all done. Buddy's on his way to pick it up now. All right, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, notifications button. This is a pretty quick and easy job, but yeah, needed to be done. All right, thanks for watching.